When watching The Simpsons, you might think of Homer as a drunk, unintelligent buffoon, spending most days drinking at Moe's, beating the shit out of his family, and doing absolutely nothing at work. But what if this wasn't all there is to his character, and behind it all lies a dark, twisted, and calculated force of chaos?
Bergam, come in!
The theory that Homer is Crusty spread like wildfire in the early years of The Simpsons, as fans noticed the similarities between the two characters. However, this was later debunked in the episode titled Homie the Clown, as Homer and Crusty were seen in the same room together, although the writers actually intended for the theory to be true, where on top of working at a nuclear power plant, Homer would dress up as a clown and do the Krusty the Clown show, in order to become Bart's hero and try to make up for all the times that he strangles him. But the idea was turned down by the Simpsons producers, stating that it would be too difficult to pull off effectively. In the 15th episode of Season 8, Homer becomes good friends with a man named John. Although once Homer finds out that John is a homosexual, he is immediately repulsed.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I danced with a gay! Marge, Lisa, promise me you won't tell anyone!
And then when he sees how well Bart and John are getting along, he starts to believe that Bart himself is gay. To change this, he then takes Bart to a cigarette billboard with a couple of fine shits on it. But all this does is make Bart want a cigarette. He then took Bart to a steel factory, but it turns out everyone there is gay.
Dad, why did you bring me to a gay steel mill?
I don't know. This is a nightmare! You're all sick!
They then decide to go on a hunting trip with Barney and Moe, but have no luck finding any animals, so they sneak into a reindeer enclosure. But this goes horribly wrong as the reindeer start attacking them. John comes out of nowhere and saves Bart's and Homer's lives with his Santa Claus robot. This changes Homer's mind, and the episode ends with him saying that he's okay if Bart is actually gay.
Huh? He thinks you're gay. He thinks I'm gay?
So people think that this episode proves that Homer is actually gay, but those people are retarded.
6 simple words. I'm not gay, but I'll learn.
Most people know about this one. In an episode where Homer gets a brain scan, we find out that a crayon is lodged in Homer's brain. Upon the removal of the crayon, Homer's intelligence vastly increases, but this only alienates him from all of his friends, and Homer doesn't enjoy the things that he used to enjoy doing. So he decides to get Moe to lodge the crayon back up into his brain, which brings him back to his old self. A lot of people believe that this episode is dark because of Homer's choice to revert back to his old self despite becoming aware of all of the pain and chaos that he causes. Going below the surface, some people have speculated that Matt Groening stole the artwork for Homer Simpson. This is because a comic from 1920 has a character with quite a lot of similarities. Although the comic was first released in Sweden, it soon became a worldwide success, so there's a good chance that Matt Groening saw it and took inspiration from it. But that's what I think this is. I think this is inspiration more than stealing. In Season 4, Episode 3, Homer falls asleep in church and sees God. They then have the following conversation.
God, I gotta ask you something. What's the meaning of life?
Homer, I can't tell you that.
Come on.
You'll find out when you die.
I can't wait that long.
You can't wait 6 months?
And just 6 months after this episode was released, another episode comes out where Bart pulls an April Fool's prank on Homer, which results in Homer being rushed to the hospital, where he is then crushed by a vending machine and put into a coma. The episode then ends with Homer waking up and getting revenge on Bart, but many fans have speculated that Homer never actually woke up from the coma, and that every following episode is all in Homer's imagination. This explains why no characters age and stay the exact way that Homer remembers them. Another weird fact is that most of the plots before this episode were much more realistic, such as Bart cheating on a test, Homer trying to give up drinking, and Marge considering cheating on Homer. But after this episode's release, episodes such as Homer going into space, Mr. Burns capturing the Loch Ness Monster, and Homer doing work for a supervillain, these episodes seem way less rooted in The Simpsons' reality than the ones before. Other people have also mentioned the mass amounts of celebrity appearances. Are these just fun plot ideas made by the writers, or do these seem like fantasies someone like Homer would have? Homer's enemy is considered one of the darkest Simpsons episodes. We are first introduced to Frank Grimes, an orphan and a hard-working man who finally lands a job at the nuclear power plant. He is assigned to work besides Homer and is immediately irritated by Homer's shenanigans. Frank ends up saving Homer's life by stopping him from drinking a glass full of sulfuric acid, although this results in him getting a pay cut for destroying Mr. Burns' walls in the process. Homer tries to apologize to Frank by inviting him to dinner, but this just angers him even more, seeing Homer's effortless accomplishments and comfortable lifestyle. And when talking to Lenny and Carl, he soon realizes that he is the only person who really cares about Homer's incompetence. So he decides to trick Homer into entering a kids contest to show everyone how stupid Homer really is. Homer ends up winning the contest, which sends Frank over the edge, causing him to go insane. He goes around imitating Homer, which results in his demise. At the end of the episode, we see Homer asleep during Frank's funeral, which further shows his lack of care and ignorance. Some people theorize that Frank knew the wires were dangerous, and that he had nothing left to live for as all of his hard work had resulted in nothing. So he ended his own life as a result of Homer's actions. Many people have speculated that Matt Groening is a Freemason. The Freemasons are essentially a fraternal cult. They practice rituals and believe that symbols have the power to influence the mind. Now, although there's no proof that Matt Groening is a Freemason, there are Masonic symbols scattered throughout many Simpsons episodes, such as the all-seeing eye, which appears in several treehouses of horror and background visuals, and the episode Homer the Great, which parodies the Freemasons but actually includes a lot of real Masonic symbols. Other people believe that Homer Simpson is not just a cartoon character, and that he is actually being used as a vessel to weaken and dumb the masses, a symbolic archetype used to shape public consciousness. His stupidity comforts the viewer, his failures justify stagnation, and his cycles teach that it's okay that nothing really changes. Homer Simpson embodies the profane man in Freemasonry. He's gluttonous, ignorant, and driven by primal instincts. The Simpsons portrays a world where enlightenment never comes. Nothing really gets better or worse. Some people think that the predictions that the Simpsons have made comes from insider knowledge, although as there is no real evidence of Matt Groening being a Freemason, I guess this will always stay as speculation. In Season 11, Episode 14, Homer and his family visit a Formula 1 stadium. Homer immediately tries to attract the attention of some cheerleaders, firing out free shirts from cannons. He even draws a target on his belly using some ketchup. Although as the shirts are flying towards him, Homer gets distracted, resulting in the shirts hitting Ned's wife Maud, and this unfortunately ends in her demise. Now, some fans have theorized that Homer did this on purpose. From the very start of the show, Homer has always had a grudge against Flanders. He has done many things that have hurt or destroyed parts of Flanders' life, and out of all of those things, this would be the most destructive, essentially destroying his family. Although Homer is shown to be guilty of his actions, maybe this is all for show, just to hide the hatred within. In the early days of The Simpsons, many characters appeared that do not appear in later seasons. All of these characters share one thing in common. They usually have some kind of altercation with Homer, which ultimately results in their downfall. But one character stands out from all the rest. Graggle Simpson was always my favourite character when I was younger. I always loved his weird, out of place character design and his random catchphrases.
We are home.
That was fast.
Yeah, that was pretty fast, Homer.
Most Simpsons fans don't know about Graggle. This is likely because he was only seen in the first few seasons, and then was mysteriously removed soon after.
Never mind.
Thanks, Dad.
This spawned many theories about Graggle. The one that I think makes the most sense is that Graggle is Homer's son. Some kind of nuclear experiment at the power plant might have caused Homer to become pregnant. This would also explain his mysterious disappearance, as the radioactivity would cause him not to live very long. Some other people believe that Graggle is still alive and that he escaped into the woods, and that we actually see him in the Mr. Burns Alien episode.
I bring you love.
It's bringing love. Don't let it get away.
Break its legs!
In 2019, Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, actually tweeted hinting that Graggle Simpson will make a return. Unfortunately, just 14 days after this tweet was made, Disney purchased the Simpsons franchise for $71.9 billion. and for some reason they deemed the return of Graggle to be too controversial. So they decided to do the tedious job of erasing him from every single episode before transferring The Simpsons to Disney+. The sad reality is that we may never get to see the character of Graggle reappear in the Simpsons universe ever again, but there is still hope, as I've decided to set up a petition, which I'll leave a link for in the description below. Anyways, thank you for watching all the way through. Please sign the petition. Goodbye.